Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you again for coming, and guess what? This is our MS Views and News very first program in the state of Virginia, and so this room is great, and I want to thank you all. This looks awesome, all right? You know, we're getting calls from people around the state asking when we're going to come to their area. In fact, a person came to me just a little while ago and asked when we're going to come to Lynchburg. And we cannot do it this year because our year is booked, so much so that every 7 to 10 days, I'm on the road going somewhere to do a program. And some of you have heard what it's been like already, but really, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I was here for your conference, and a week and a half later, I was in New York doing a program. And a week after that, or a week and a half after that, I was in San Francisco. Now I'm here. In another 2 weeks, we're going to be in Detroit. And 2 days after that, we're going to be in Mobile, Alabama. Talk about insane, top to bottom, okay? But again, it's just a lot to do. There's so many people that want to be educated, and this is exactly what we're trying to do, is just bring all this out there. Fortunately, we have the pharmaceutical industry to help us do this. And today, for instance, I want to thank Teva Neuroscience, and I hope you all do too, because they gave us the funding to do today's program. For those that don't know, for those that weren't here a month ago when I was asked, just on a whim, well, it wasn't on a whim, Suzanne asked me to come on over to Cinderella's Closet, and I snuck up on her, and 3 weeks before the program, I called her up and I said, I'm coming. We're going to be there. So, and it was great. You know, I learned something from that program. I learned something from all of you that were at that program that I don't see in the rest of the country. You are so lucky to have the formats of the self-help groups that you have here, and that you have the alliance, you know, to help just bring certain things together, like Cinderella's Closet, that it's just really incredible. And you guys are lucky. I mean, you're very lucky to have the people that are helping bring this information to you. So, you know, I saw that and I said, wow, we got to try to educate others from around the country of what they're missing out on and what they need to see. So, you know, they should all come here and visit with you all one day. So MS Views and News, just so you know, again, we provide information, education, and resources to the entire global MS community, and this includes the caregivers. And by the way, how many caregivers are here today? Raise your hands. Thank you. All right, thank you. You all deserve it. You all greatly deserve, because for those that cannot do for themselves all the time or remember, we need you there. We need you to learn always, and thank you again. All right, next. I already spoke about our YouTube channel, already spoke about all these other things, so let me just try to move things along, speed roll ahead here. Whenever we come to a new area, we ask the local self-help group leaders if they'd like to come up and speak for 90 seconds about their group. And so today we have Kenneth is going to come on over, and he's going to speak about his group.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Stu's News and Views and MS News and Views and whoever we are. We're glad to have you here. I'm Kenny, and I'm one of the original 12 of the revamped Roanoke Valley MS Support Group. We are a great group that has grown to approximately 300 people on our mailing list now, and we are into education of folks with MS and without MS. We all need to be educated. We are into raising awareness about multiple sclerosis to everyone in the Roanoke Valley and surrounding areas and throughout the state and beyond. We're also into empowerment of folks living with MS, and we are into, really, this is the important one, having fun. Yeah. You know, just because we have trouble walking doesn't mean we can't laugh and have fun, and I love this group for doing that because we do a great job. We have 3 support groups here in this area. We have 2 here in the Roanoke Valley, one that meets the second Tuesday of every month at the Tanglewood Holiday Inn, and one that meets the 4th Thursday in the evening, also at Tanglewood Holiday Inn. And we have a group in Bristol, Virginia, and I've been there recently, and they're a great group as well. So we're glad to get together with everybody, and I'll pass it back to Stu.
Thank you. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you. Next, 2 special people that so many of you know about, and I get them confused. I call her Don and him Sharon.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sharon Cross, and I'm the group leader for the Mountain Empire MS Support Group in Bristol. We're an independent support group. Okay. And I am very honored to also be an ambassador for the Multiple Sclerosis Alliance of Virginia, which is very, very wonderful for me. Thank you. We got our help starting our group from Suzanne and all of you all, and we're thrilled. We just celebrated our first anniversary as a support group, independent support group in Bristol. And we are trying to educate and empower and get people together in Bristol and grow so that everyone knows what we deal with every day. Thank you.
The only other thing that I'd like to add is the MS Foundation and several affiliates like Stewart has helped reach the rural areas that brought people. We had a call from a 70-year-old lady up in Mountain City that would like to be part of our group, follow Stewart on his blog, and her husband has Parkinson's, so they can't get out. So this kind of program, the blog, the website, helps even people that can't come out to the programs like this. So we're really proud of this patient-based program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So Don hit it on the head. That's exactly the reason, again, why we like to video record our programs, is because for the countless people that live too far, whether it's or that's just health-wise, they can't get out to a program, or they don't have the transportation, this is the reason why we video record, and why, again, 140,000 clicked on there last year to look at this. Going back to one more thing before I ask Suzanne to come up, she should be making her way up, is that last year we did 53 programs. 53 programs in 52 weeks. Now you know why I'm out every 7 to 10 days, right? This year, how many are we doing again? 53 programs. No rest for the weary. Anyway, it's great, okay, because I get more empowered seeing you all smile, especially after the programs, when you come over and ask when we're going to come back again. So the more that you're out there, I get my energy from all of you, and I thank you again. Suzanne, your turn.
Stewart asked me to tell you a little bit about the Multiple Sclerosis Alliance of Virginia, and I honestly thought I was going to be surrounded by people that knew all about it, so it's nice to see some new faces. The MS Alliance of Virginia is a new nonprofit. We were formed in January 2016 because we had a support group that just kept growing and growing and growing, and the need was there. I think you guys can answer the question better than I can. Who here feels like they're a member of or a part of the MS Alliance of Virginia? Okay. If you didn't raise your, and that's good. If you didn't raise your hand, I'd like to know why. Because if MS has affected your life in any way, shape, or form, it is your group. It's not my group. We're trying to get the name Suzanne out of the picture. It hasn't been the most positive thing. We always blame Wayne and Juanita Gillespie because, you see, raise your hand. They are why I got involved. And most of you heard this story so many times. I always kind of look at Susan because she looks at me like, Suzanne, I've heard this 1,000 times. But I live in the middle of the woods in Floyd County. And if you're not familiar with the middle of the woods in Floyd County, it's kind of a community known for a place where the hippies and the old farmers got together and probably grew pot and went over the line to Franklin County and got some moonshine. But it's a very unique artistic community, and when I moved there, it wasn't with the intention of driving back to Roanoke on a regular basis. And so they called and asked me if I wanted to help with the support group, and I said no. And they were like, why? I'm like, well, I'm old, I'm retired, I live in the middle of the woods in Floyd County, and I don't really want to do that. Why don't you want to do it? Well, probably for the same reason you don't want to do it. But you know what? I did it because I thought maybe the support group needed me. I didn't need a support group, right? Well, I've eased off on the part of being the group leader, but now, last month, I was getting ready to come down to Roanoke. I live over an hour away. And where do I live, Wayne? In the middle of nowhere. And I was getting ready to come, and my husband goes, see, I told you. You're going to always do that. They're always going to need you. I'm like, no, you got it wrong this month, honey. I need them. And I'm going as a group member, not to run the group. So there's so many things I could say about the Multiple Sclerosis Alliance, but the other day, Diana and I were talking. Diana's my co-president, and she's not my friend, but she's my co-president. And I was saying, you know, maybe everybody doesn't get us. Maybe some people think that we're silly, or some of the things we do are immature, because we do a little fantasy thing called Cinderella's Closet. And we do fun things. We do cruises, and we do beach trips, and we play Jenga with people with MS that can't even walk right, that lose, right? But you know what her answer was, Suzanne? That's part of what we're about, the fantasy. It's what keeps us all smiling and happy. And so if you're not familiar with the MS Alliance of Virginia, check us out. We're a big deal, and we're created by us. And I invite you to come to our hospitality room before you leave today. We have a hospitality room on the 3rd floor, room 336. And you know how somebody says, will you tell me something? So I wrote all these little notes and had all this stuff. And you know what? I'm sure my 2 minutes are up. There you go. But I hope you learned a little bit more about us, and I hope you're interested in learning a whole lot more about us. And thank you for this time. And Stuart, thank you guys for bringing MS Views and News here.
Thank you. Thank you. She's wonderful, huh?
Thank you so much.
So, again, after coming all here with all of you, you know, this abrasive New Yorker guard went down at your Cinderella's Closet, you know, and that's when I learned that I could have fun with you all, and that's why this became so special to me. All right? So, today's event, we're going to have a couple of different speakers. We got Jeff Segal, who came and travels with me a lot in the United States. He's a personal trainer, and he's also got multiple sclerosis. So whatever you see him doing, know also, keep in the back of your mind that he's got MS as well. And also then we're going to have Dr. Kramer, and you all probably know Dr. Kramer. Please remember, let's keep the talking to none, except during when you're doing Q&A, all right? And Jeff's going to do this for about 35 minutes. We're going to do Q&A. I will go around the room afterwards with the microphone. If anybody has any questions, just raise your hand. And the same again later on with Dr. Kramer.
All right, he already said thank you, so I don't have to say it, even though I kind of just did. But these programs don't work without you and the people watching on YouTube or whatever channel you're getting this on. I think it's only YouTube. Through Facebook and whatever else there is. I appreciate you guys coming out because this program is for you, and it helps me as well because the feedback I get from you makes the next program even better. So thanks for that, and you're sharing your time with me. Time's something you cannot get back. That's one thing I really appreciate. You know, we do things in the now, and right now you're giving me your time, and you're very courageous for being out here because I guarantee you there's a handful of you that had it in your mind, maybe I'm gonna stay home today. Any of you think that? You don't have to raise your hand. Don't worry, I won't hold it against you. But there's some people in the room that probably thought twice about coming tonight, and you guys made it, so I'm gonna try to make it extra special for you guys. It's not easy having MS. It's even tougher living with someone who has MS. I'm sure that you guys can agree with that. Just don't say it next to the person with MS, because then you gotta go home and deal with whatever it is you're gonna deal with. But it isn't easy, and what I try to give out to you guys is knowledge that makes it easier. It makes it easier for the person with MS as well as the other person. And if there's something you believe you can't do, chances are you're not going to be able to do it because you truly believe you can't do it. So I want you to believe in yourself. If you tell yourself you can, and I will, you know, the will part is more important than anything because you know what you should do, you know what you can do, and if you're not willing to do it, then move on. So be willing to do it a little bit extra every day. If you do a little bit extra every day, it adds up to a lot, and then you've accomplished something. And if there's something that you feel you can't do 9 out of 10 times, be the one time. Get the 9 times out of the way. It's okay to fail. I can tell you every day I wake up and I do the things I do. I'll tell you what my morning routine is, but I fail miserably in my mind when I'm working with the people that I work with. in my head, I'm thinking, we're going to do this. No, that's not going to work. We're going to do that. In the split second, I fail 10 times before I have them do what they're going to succeed in. And that's what makes them as good as they are, the people I work with. Because I believe in them and they believe in themselves. And that's really important. Like I said before, if you believe you can do something, your chances go up dramatically. If you believe you can't do something, then you're probably not going to even attempt it. And failure is okay. We've all failed. I mean, whoever goes to the Super Bowl and loses, failed. The winner wins. You don't remember the teams that fail for the most part unless it's your team. Do you remember who won the 1986 Super Bowl? I think it was the Giants. I don't know. I'm not sure who won it. But you definitely don't remember who lost it. So they failed. The team that won is in history. They're in the books. You don't see their names. Same thing with any sport or any activity. I mean, failure leads to success. Thomas Edison, how many times did he fail when he was making a light bulb? You've probably read this before. If you didn't read it, then you wouldn't know that I think he did 1,000 times. But you know the one time, because if it hadn't happened, you wouldn't see me glowing up here because that's really bright, thanks to Thomas. And he was very persistent, and he kept doing what he did. So that's what we have to be, is persistent. And we all have something in common here. Everybody in here has something in common, including myself. And nobody in here knows what I'm going to say next. You know, I don't. I talk and I look around and I see what people want. And right now, everybody's just staring at me. Nobody's really jumping up and down. So I'm not going to jump up and down. That's not what you guys want. I can't jump though. You know, it's all right. But persistence is important. And the people that are caregivers here, one thing that I want you guys to understand is exercise is my thing. Exercise might not be the person you're caring for's thing. Don't call it exercise if that's the case. Think of another term. Think of something else that might be more suitable for them. Having fun, enjoying life, playing, doing whatever it is. I don't care what you call it. If it's something that's between the two of you, it's between the two of you. I don't care. As long as you guys are together and doing it. Because working as a team, using the words we, us, together, those are very helpful. Those unite. Illness. We're all here because someone with us has an illness, or we do. And it's not about I, it's about we. So if you take the I out of illness, it becomes wellness. So that's what I'm here to talk about, is wellness. Wellness is being well, and that's what we want to be. We all want to be well, no matter what, no matter how we feel right now, whether it's good or bad. We want to feel better. If we feel, like for me, no matter how well I feel, I want to feel better. Right now, I feel phenomenal, but I want to feel even more phenomenal. Is that such a thing? More phenomenal? Phenomenalist? I don't know. I'm making up words here. But that one thing out of the 10 should always be what you're shooting for, because if you can only do it 1 out of 10 times, the next 10 maybe it's 2, the next time maybe it's 3, and as you go, it might be part of your daily routine. So speaking of daily routines, if you're somebody who is a caregiver and you work out, exercise, live the healthy lifestyle, good for you, pass that on. If you're not, shame on you, because how are you going to take care of yourself, let alone the person who's ill or has a disability, which I don't like using the word disability because disability has a negative connotation. So we'll say limiting ability or just the ability to do X, Y, and Z. But we all have ability. Everybody in this room has ability, or they wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have been able to come. Able. Able's the word that, try to choose these positive things rather than negative things. And if you're going to tell somebody else to exercise, like I said, and don't, and the whole shame on you, it's okay if you can't bring yourself to do it. But if the person who you're with and who you're helping is exercising, reward them for it. Do something wonderful, terrific. Make them happy. Make them want to do it again. Do it with them. And if you're not doing it, they'll find someone else to do it with. It's so important to not overestimate what someone's ability. So if, for instance, if you're doing this power exercise routine and the person that you're caring for is doing a routine, that routine that they're doing might be to them the same thing as your marathon. And it might be a 10-minute workout. That might be the only thing they can do. And be happy that they're doing it, because they're doing something and they're really benefiting from it. Exercise has so many benefits. It's all about now. When's the best time to exercise? I get that every time. I take this question away from people, because if I ask the whole group, when do you think the best time to exercise is, or if somebody asks me that, it's different for everybody. My answer is always the same. It's right now. And why? Why would I say that? Because it's always right now. So if you're always ready to do it now, then now's the time. And somebody asked me last night, where do you live? And I'm a kidder. I said, I live wherever I am. I think you guys remember that. There was people from that table. Because wherever I am, I'm living. I'm living to my fullest. I'm standing. And being someone with MS, I understand the worst it could be, and I understand what it feels like to overcome that. I mean, there was a time that I had a doctor tell me, you'll never walk again. And I came very close to walking out of his office at that moment. But I'll tell you, a year later, I had stopped seeing that doctor because of that. He was the reason why a year later I walked back into his office and I said, you know something? You remember me? I was the one you told couldn't walk again. I dunked a basketball with 2 hands last night. And I turned around and I told him where to kiss me, and I walked out the door. So you gotta overcome these things. If somebody else doubts you, it's not your problem, it's theirs. Believe in yourself. That's what it comes down to all the time. In the morning when I wake up, I don't know if you guys are early risers, late risers. I get up really early in the morning. First thing I do, probably the same thing as all of you. I take myself to the restroom, right? But on the way to the restroom, I smile at myself in the mirror, and it's usually a really, really, really fake and miserable looking smile. It might look like this. But then I look back and smile, and then I have a little chuckle because it makes me laugh. I get through the day, and I can say, today I smiled no matter what. If I do that first thing on the way to the restroom, I smiled today, and and you can't take that away from me no matter what happens throughout the rest of the day. How many people in here do exercise? Okay. How many people in here just raised your hand because I did? It's okay if you don't, as long as you plan to. And planning is something that's very difficult when it comes to exercise, because you never know when you're going to have energy and when you're not going to have energy. So my antidote for that is, if you keep a schedule, write in your schedule exercise 10 times throughout the day. And I see some people looking at me like I'm crazy, and they're right. But I do think that if you write it 10 times throughout the day, that you pick one of those times that you're feeling well, you can scribble through the rest of those 10 or 9 times, and you've accomplished what you set out to accomplish. But if you write 3 o'clock in the afternoon to exercise and you're exhausted at 3 o'clock and you think, wow, at 11 o'clock I could have done it, I had the time, I had the energy, but I was supposed to do it at 3 o'clock, but I can't now, I'm going to wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow might be the next day might be the next week, and the next week might be the next year, and before you know it, you're talking about how you used to be so good at exercising, and that was 10 years ago. And if you don't go to the gym or wherever it is that you're going to work out because of your past experience, shame on you. We are human. Some of us. I can't say that about everybody. My doctors are still working on me, but I know that when I ever had obstacles going to the gym, it was because I used to be able to do a lot more stuff in the gym at the time when I was having problems thinking about doing that. And if I asked every one of you why you don't individually go to the gym, 1 or 2 of you might say because, well, I used to be able to do, and that's what people just go right into that. What they used to be able to do. I don't care what you used to be able to do. I care about how hard you worked at being able to do what you used to be able to do. But if you think about it, and you don't go to the gym because there's a bunch of people doing things, you know who people look at the gym? They look at themselves. That's why there's mirrors all over the gym. They don't look at other people and make fun of them. They don't care about that. People are so vain. I mean, people go to the gym and they think, Well, that person's not going to see me doing as well as I did 20 years ago. They didn't even know you existed 20 years ago. Maybe you didn't exist 20 years ago. I don't know. But that stands in the way of our exercise routines or doing stuff because our mind sets us back to the very best we ever were. And if you say to yourself, and you maybe you used to be able to do squat close to 500 pounds, I used to squat close to 500 pounds. If that stopped me from going to the gym now because I can't squat 500 pounds now, I'd never go to the gym again because that's not my goal. I don't care about doing that. I care about working hard. I care about doing it. I care about being able to do more than I did today, tomorrow. And the next day, more than I did today as well. And if I can't, and I can only do what I did today, I'm still doing. And doing is achieving. Thinking about doing something gets nothing accomplished. That whole thought process that I'll do it later, I might not be able to, forget all those things. Just do it. I mean, Nike's got it on the money. That's why that's never going to end. You're always going to hear, Nike, just do it. Nike did it. I mean, when you think of sneakers, what do you think of? Nike. It's Nike. It's all over me. I got one there and one here, and it's the swoosh it's the thing. I mean, sorry, Adidas, I'm not doing this to help Nike out, but they hit it on the button. I think that it would be just as good to say right now, but that'll be on my thing. I'll put something right here that says right now. So is there any kind of exercise that somebody in here can tell me that they'd like to do, or they do, or they don't know how to do it, or they'd like to start doing it, anything along those lines, and then I'm going to go from there. Because I can tell you this, it's very frustrating to want to do something and not be sure if you can or you can't, and the reason for not doing it be that you don't know how. So I'm here to show you how. So one person that can raise their hand, if you got a question about how to do something, I'll go into it from there. I'll take out my toys over here, and we'll get going with it. So someone asked me.
Strength training without buying a lot of exercise equipment.
Okay, strength training without a lot of exercise equipment is the question. Without having a lot of them?
Without having to buy.
Okay, you know what the best piece of equipment that there is out there to exercise with? You. And that's just for you, not for everybody else. I don't want everyone to go to her and say, I need to use you to exercise. But, okay, your body weight. So can you stand up out of a chair? You don't have to right now, but you can. So you can do a squat. So you can do squats. Don't look at me like that because you just told me you can stand up out of a chair. You can, right?
With difficulty, but I can.
Okay, I don't care about the difficulty. Because if you do it and then you do it and keep practicing it, then it might become easier and then it's not going to be that difficult, right? So if you can stand up out of a chair, squats are part of your daily routine. If you want to stand up better, do it often, do squats, use the wall to help, do something like that. But we haven't added any weight to it yet, have we? Or expensive equipment. Expensive equipment could be a milk jug. Do you know how much a gallon of milk weighs? Who said that? Good, that's awesome. Liquid gallon is 8 pounds, like an 8-pound medicine ball. I use medicine balls for everything. So speaking of which, I didn't fill this up with milk. It's got sand in it. Medicine balls are not very expensive. You can make them yourself. If you get some kind of bag, fill them with sand. I live by the beach, so it's easy to get sand, although I still get it from Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. I don't want there to be stinky sand in my exercise equipment. But I use these as something along the lines of like dumbbells. You can do anything in the gym with a medicine ball for the most part. Slams, throws, catches, core work, all that kind of stuff. Curls, tricep extensions, and same thing goes with a gallon of milk or 2 liters of water or a liter of water. I don't care what it weighs, whatever it is, increase it as you go. Do it more reps. More weight as you go, and if you can't do it as much, cut it off there. There's a rep range that you may want to stay between, depending on your goals. If you want to build muscle, muscle is 8 to 12 reps to failure. People say, 8 to 12 reps. I just did this 8 to 12 times. Well, if you didn't fail at the very end, then it's not going to build muscle. So that's how muscle building goes. Heavier weights, if you're doing really heavy weights, doesn't mean you're going to bulk up. It just means you're going to get really strong. That's what we want. We want to be strong. How many people in here get frustrated about things? It's very, What frustrates me is when it's raining and I want to do something with somebody else outside, and it's an excuse for them not to go outside. And then I ask them, wow, well, if we go inside, you don't like water. Do you not take showers? The only reason not to go out in the rain is if it's lightning or if there's a flood. We don't have that much of flooding like you guys do here because we don't have hills, but it does flood because it rains every day. Sometimes in the front yard it's raining, in the backyard it's sunny. But I give my hearts out to the people in Texas who are really getting beat up right now by a hurricane, so be thankful that we're not going through that. So the people in here who get frustrated, angry, upset, mad, the best thing I can do with this, I can show other people, is throw it on the ground. If you can pick it up, you can do a lunge too. Because look what, that's a lunge. It doesn't have to be exactly like that, but what's the strongest muscle in your body and the biggest muscle in your body? How do you know? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, it's your butt. Your gluteus maximus. That's what you do to extend the hips. And if you want to pick up something from the ground, you're using your glutes. Same thing with here. You ever see a little child, 2-, 3-year-old, pick something up off the ground? If you haven't and you don't know how to do a squat or a deadlift, that's who you learn from. It's natural to them. They learn bad habits later in life. We teach them that because we learn the bad habits. Can I get a volunteer? Anybody want to volunteer? Okay, let me have one of my volunteers come up here. As she's coming around here, I want everybody to find something that you can throw to her, like a knife. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just being patient and wait for you to come up here. But I'm going to have her demonstrate some things with this medicine ball. Have you ever used a medicine ball?
A very light one.
This is pretty light. It's only 3 pounds.
Okay.
How many children do you have?
I have no children.
Okay, then this should be easy. That was going to be my answer regardless of what your answer was. Okay, so take this.
Oh,
It's pretty heavy, isn't it?
I can hold it.
Okay, can you throw it to me?
I throw like a girl.
She said she throws like a girl. Could you catch like a girl? Let's see. No matter how you caught, you'd catch like a girl, right? Now throw it to me. Can you bend your knees a little bit? Now you're more stable. Your legs might be a little bit shaky, but that's because you're not used to bending your knees a lot when you're standing. You're working your core right now, believe it or not. Look, watch the ball, not me.
Okay, watch the ball. Got it.
Pretty good, right? Well, she's doing a lot of core work and stability work. What's more important, having balance or stability? Balance when you're at the doctor and they're telling you to stand on one leg, right? But stability when you're living. Because if you can't be stable, you don't walk around in places like this, do you? I hope not. It'd be very dangerous. Okay, so I could see her, you keep smiling, right? Now get rid of the smile real quick. Be mad, throw it at the ground. Now feel good, smile again. See it helped, it worked. So now now your stomach's hurting, you're laughing so hard, right? Exercise can be fun.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fun. That's what we want. Everybody in life, what we want to do is we want to enjoy ourselves, right? If we can't have fun, what can we do? Work? What if work was fun? For me, it's fun. This is a blast. What if you did this for a living? Would you have fun doing it?
I'm having fun.
Okay, then do it every day. On top of the workouts you normally do.
That's going to be a lot.
Yeah, so throw it at the ground again. Told you weren't mad. But bam, all of a sudden, you guys, I hope that's an eye-opener to you. Something simple like that. That's easy, isn't it?
That was easy.
Can you lift that over your head?
Yes.
Okay. Now throw it at the ground. From there. Use your, oh, that's weak. And you did that like a girl. That drives me nuts. When you were taught to do push-ups in school, did they say, okay, you guys do the girl push-ups, boys do the boy push-ups?
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
What's that all about?
That's horrible. I'm going after all those coaches because we're equal in strength, especially when we're young. When we're young, girls were stronger than guys. Believe me, I used to get picked on by girls. They used to chase me. I don't know. Maybe that's how I got my speed.
I'm going to throw this.
Throw that really hard. There you go. You got to put your core into it using all hands. So if you were to do it like this,
Oh, okay.
then there's a guy under there, so don't mess around. He's getting mad. There, now you're working your abs. Wow, you see that? So that's just one of the many things that you can do with this. But you did that well. So I want you to do that when you go home. Throw it on the ground. Throw it at somebody that you don't like. I'm just kidding. You like everybody, right?
I do like everything.
Okay, that's good. So throw it soft like this. See?
Oh,
I just wanted to show what it'd be like if you dropped it. Did that hurt? That didn't hurt, did it? Just your feelings.
But
Huh?
I can do a
You see? She's doing a lunge. There you go. Aha, you see? Did you ever think about that before? Now you can do lunges.
No.
And watch this. Let me show you something else. I can drop it too.
Okay.
All right. So if you're always taught to pick it up with your knees, right? People always say, bend at the knees, bend at the knees. Well, you can, but your knees are pretty stupid. Knees are dumb joints. They do two things. They flex and extend. And when they do side-to-side movement, you know what that means? Go to the orthopedist. Because they don't do anything more than that. But yeah, a squat would be here. You know, that'd be doing a squat. But when it becomes too heavy, I'm going back to, you ever see a little kid pick something up?
Yeah.
How many of you have seen, or how many of you have children? How many of you were children? I see someone in the back that didn't raise their hand. Sorry, we're going to have to check your blood. Yeah, she's still not looking over here. I'm talking to you in the back, next to the girl in the pink. I'm picking on you two. I was asking you guys questions. Were you ever a child? No. See, what did I tell you? Okay, that was my only question. But when a child picks something up off the ground that they can pick up, they pick it up like this. And when it's too heavy, you'll see a child pick something up like this. Then they go. Does that look familiar? Do you remember when you were a child picking something up and doing that? If you do, your memory is so much better than mine. But I want you to be observant. When you see a child picking something up, you can take a video of them picking something up off the ground and make a perfect squat, perfect deadlift, and mimic that. I've done that for my clients on many occasions. Here, throw that to me one more time. Not at me, to me. You can throw it at me if you want, but I'll move and then something will break back there. So that's fun though. I mean, just playing catch with something like this. If you throw it this way and this way, just kidding. Psych. Here. Now you're using rotational muscles to prevent you from rotating, which is working. You can throw it back to me. Look at that. See, now you can say, I catch like a man. Purple ball.
Purple's my favorite color.
I knew it. I thought it was orange.
That's my second favorite.
And what's your third?
I don't have a third.
No? Why are you wearing that color on your wrist? That's your third favorite color.
Multiple Sclerosis Alliance of Virginia.
But that's got to be one of your favorite colors, right?
I do like that.
So that's like your fifth favorite. You don't have a third or fourth. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you coming up here. You did great. But that was easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I need another volunteer. This one's really going to be difficult, so no, I'm really kidding. It's not going to be difficult. We already picked someone, so bam. How are you, Chris?
Okay.
We met already, right? I don't remember you. Do you remember me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I forgot to have her give her consent up here, so you'll have to do that after or come back up in a little bit. But do you consent to?
Yes.
Okay, so you consent to exercise and be on this video, and I'm not going to tell you to do anything like a girl.
Okay.
Okay? I had her doing stuff like a man, though. So. Wow, that was bright. That was like the solar eclipse. How many of you guys saw the solar eclipse? You guys are not supposed to look at it. Okay, that's okay. Exercise bands. Anybody here ever used an exercise band? Okay, have you?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever done what we're about to do?
I have no idea what we're going to do.
Me neither. So at least we're both on the same page. Okay, so what I want you to do is These aren't very expensive for you over there who's asking about how expensive, you don't want expensive equipment. But what you can do with something like this is similar to the stuff that you can do with the expensive things in the gym. And more important, it can be done from a standing position, seating position without support. That works your core.
Okay.
You know what your core is? Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
All right, come forward a little bit. Okay, stop right there. Now what I want you to do is bend your knees a little bit. You don't bend your knees because you get a little bit of fatigue in your legs if you bend them too much.
Okay.
But if you straighten them, you're off balance. You're not as balanced. So keep them a little bit bent. Now, you feel that resistance?
Yeah.
A little bit difficult?
A little bit.
Okay, you know what you're working right now?
Core.
My core. Yeah, you're working your core, you're working your lower back. So by me just pulling on this, you're working these muscles to prevent you from doing this.
Okay.
So if you completely relaxed your core, which you're not going to do because then you'd fall forward and then I'd catch you and would be a mess, take the sign down, you never know. Yeah, don't let go. Then I'll look different. So now pull. Now you're doing a row. See, one at a time. Pull straight back. So when you pull, keep your arm
Straight.
Watch me. Try this, straight back.
Okay.
There you go. Now the other one. You're working your lower back, you're working your upper back, you're working your biceps, you're working your core. And these people are very proud of you doing that, right? Yeah. It's pretty good. Now, see, sometimes I have to ask for a clap. You got it on your own.
Okay.
Press straight down with both. You're supposed to read my mind, remember?
Okay.
Okay, now what was I going to do? No, I'm just kidding. Whatever you want. No. There you go. Now lift it up. He's working his shoulders. He's working his back. Now let's see. Okay, now I want you to do can you do squats? I'm not going to have you go all the way. Hey, look at that. Bam, he's doing squats. You knew you could do them already, though, didn't you? So if you held on to this, you can use it as support. You can do squats and rows at the same time. Now pull.
All right, wait a minute.
There you go. There's so many different ways you can do it. Yeah, see, I didn't even ask him and he's doing it. I just put this, see, this is magical bands. You just hold them and you start exercising, right? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to hold this side. Hold it right here. No, you can hold it by here because I'm going to show people, okay. But don't hold it here. Put your hand through it. That way if I pull really hard, your hand's coming off.
Okay.
No, I don't want your hand to come off. Now I'm gonna, so I can still be in there, I'm not gonna hold the handles, but that can lock into a door. And how many people in here have done a bench press before? Hey, bench press is great, but your back's supported, core is taken completely out of it. Push-ups, phenomenal. Push-ups is good an exercise you can. They're free. You can do man push-ups too, even women. You just have to progress into doing them. When you're doing a push-up, everything that's facing the ground is working. It's preventing you from collapsing. Those are the muscles that are working. Doing a band press, I'm not going to pull you hard, don't worry. And if I do, then you're going to come right up against my back and do a push-up off my back, right? Yeah. No. we rehearsed this already. So if I'm standing here and I do a press, you got it? He's really pulling hard. So if I do a press, what I'm working is these muscles here and the mic. So I'm doing presses, I'm working those muscles, I'm working everything I would do in a bench press in addition to my abs, my hip flexors. Believe it or not, my hip flexors are keeping me up. Because if my hip flexors weren't keeping me up, I'd fall straight back. That's a problem with push-ups that can occur with people with MS, is hip flexors. If your hip flexors are weak, and push-ups might not be the thing for you, but if that was the case, you could put your legs on something, or you could do a push-up from a seated position away from something, or something along those lines. That make sense to you?
Yes, it is.
All right. Let's see. You want to do anything else with this? No? That's it? You just want to get off the stage?
Yeah, we're
You're
good.
done. Okay. High five. Good job. I missed. These bands are phenomenal because they can be closed in a door jamb, and then you can do just about anything from a seated position or a standing position. From a seating position, everything that he was just doing is going to work similar stuff except for from the seat up rather than from your feet up. That's the difference. And now for Beth. Please come up, Beth. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Now that's when she goes down. She's going to cut when she gets off the stage. I want you to know this is my very last balloon I have on this trip.
Okay.
I came with 2. I used one a couple days ago.
Okay.
But, so if this doesn't work, you got a balloon?
No.
All right, we'll figure something out.
Okay.
That's not what I was going to do. Sorry. How's your balance?
Decent.
How's your stability?
Decent.
Okay. How's your vision?
Pretty good.
How's your...
Trick questions.
No, they're not trick questions.
Okay.
How's your patience?
None.
None? You'd be a horrible doctor then.
Yes.
And you'd be starving too.
Yes.
Okay, what I want you to do is catch that. Was that easy?
Sure.
Okay, here. Thank you. You can go off the stage.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. That was too simple. A balloon is something that everybody can do something with. If you can only move your shoulder like this, then I would throw it and say try to hit the balloon with your shoulder. But you can do more than that, right? So I'm going to hold it up here and try to kick it. I'm just kidding. It was off the camera, so no one saw.
Scary.
Okay, so what I want you to do is just catch it.
Okay.
Okay. Now these exercises like this are fun. Is it fun?
Sure. Loads.
Are you just saying that because I asked you?
It's lots of fun.
Okay, so now what I want you to do is come over here.
Okay.
Now you're in front of the mic. Now everybody can see you in the whole world. Now I want you to turn around.
This way?
Yeah, but come over here. Come this way. Face that way. Go. I'm not really making gestures at you. Okay, what I want you to do is when you hear the balloon, this, not the squeak, I want you to catch it, but don't turn around.
Okay.
I'm not going to hit it off. If it goes off the stage, just stay there. I'll get it.
Cool.
Don't worry, it's not going to go on the ground. Now I'm going to hit it in front of you and just catch it.
Okay.
All right, now if you're in a seated position, you throw it back here. It's a reaction drill.
Oh, sorry.
So it's hand-eye coordination, fine motor skills. And if you're from a seated position, which if we can get a chair up here, will that work for the chair up here? All right, don't go anywhere.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Do you consent to be
I'm
up here
good.
and everything you were doing
Yeah,
up here
I'm
already
good.
and what you're about to do?
Sure.
Okay. I still need a seat. Someone's
Right
getting
here,
a seat.
right here.
All right, I got a seat. Thanks. Actually, sit right here. Face that way.
Okay.
Okay, let me see you stand up a second. Okay, now I didn't say turn around, just stand up. Sit down. Stand up again. And sit down. No, I didn't say walk, just stand up. Stand up. Perfect, now sit down. Okay, so she can definitely do squats. She just did a few of them. Now what I'm going to have her do is catch the balloon, stand up and catch it. When you
Stand up and catch it, go.
when you hear that, okay? Although, okay, you don't have to stand up. Stand up. Now throw it back. You getting tired?
Sure.
You are?
No, I'm good.
Okay, me neither. We're going to do a lot of these.
Okay.
So you see that's something that she's doing, but what you can do that with another person is, what I want you to do is catch it, stand behind the chair, and then hit it for me, okay? Ready? Go.
Do what?
Get up. Come around, stand over here.
Which way?
That
This
way, yeah.
And then throw it to you?
Now hit it. Now go that way. Oh, not
Sorry,
that way.
wrong way.
Now one more time. Okay, that's something you can do with somebody else. You can do it also from the ground. You can, the most difficult way, don't worry, I'm not going to make you get in the ground. But I'm going to get on the ground, and this would be the most difficult. You can do it with a little bouncy ball. You can do it with a balloon. You can do it with a medicine ball. if you don't like the person, and not slamming it. You can slam Bloom, but nothing's going to happen. So hit that, hit up in the air. So to get up and catch it, that'd be something else if you're able to do that. But if you were going to do that, then you'd hit it up high so someone would be able to slowly get it. And hand-eye coordination, get up and go, balance, stability, and then you graduate to the next thing. Like a dumbbell. No, don't do that with a dumbbell. So does this answer your question for inexpensive exercise equipment? You know how much this costs? I don't know. I took it from that birthday party over there. No, I got it from $1 for 12, $1 for 20. Depends. It depends how happy I am when I'm selling them. No, but they're very inexpensive. And if you fill them with water, then you can really have fun, but they won't last as long.
True.
Well, thank you so much for coming up here. The other thing to do with them is hitting them off the stage and then getting them, but if you don't have a stage at home, I wouldn't do it. If you have a stage at home, then we'll talk afterwards. Any children in the room? Everybody is chopped. Would you like this balloon? You want it? Come get it. Come on, come here. I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit it to her. So right over there, I'm gonna hit it. You just go get it and there. Stay low, stay low, stay low, stay low, stay low, stay low. Go, 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 go. Low, 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 low. All right. Anybody know what this is?
Oh, furniture mover.
Yes. Now I'm looking for like 15 people to help me move furniture and don't mind coming to Florida for the week. No, another inexpensive piece of equipment. Oh, see, this was all just for you. 4 of these, like $10, I don't know, something like that at Walmart. You guys have a Walmart? Okay. Or at Home Depot or any, they have them a lot of places, Office Depot or, if you have problems with flexion, extension of your knee or hip flexors, see, someone already said it was a good idea.
We use paper plates.
You use paper plates? Not plastic? Paper? Okay, good. I like paper rather than plastic. But not styrofoam, right?
No, definitely.
Okay, if you want to practice knee flexion and extension, this is what you can do. Sometimes it's more difficult if you have problems with your hip flexors because you can't do something like this because your hip flexors aren't working as well. But you can also, circles, you're working your hips, you're working your internal and external rotators. I'm going to do this just to even it out a little bit. So you can do those. You can do stuff with while you're standing to help out with balance. If you can do this, if you can balance on one leg for this long, and that's it, well, a way that you can help with that is, okay, just a little bit, you know. I'm also practicing a single-legged squat here, and eventually it could become without it, see? But this is another way to practice balance on this leg. This leg's doing the work. This leg's just moving around. It's a simple movement. Hip flexors are working right now, too. I'm using my hip flexors to bring it forward, my hip extensors to bring it back, my glutes, strong muscles. You guys said butt. That works. But also for lunges, a single-legged lunge, this is what people think of a lot. People think of a lunge like this, right? Something along the lines of that. But that's a traditional lunge that does put a lot of pressure on your knee. There's also a reaching lunge, which is how we pick things up off the ground. If you do it with one leg, if you do it with two, it's like a deadlift. As long as your shoulders don't come further than your toes, you're safe. If they do, your back's in jeopardy. For a single-legged one, this will help you practice pick something up off the ground. And it's a progression. You don't have to start out by going that far down. You can do something like, I call it a single-legged reach. Just a little bit. And then you can bring it further and go further and reach further out. And eventually, maybe you could do it on one leg. and practice it. And then the more you do it, you neurally adapt to a movement. And that's why at the beginning of an exercise program, you feel kind of weak. Anybody ever start an exercise program and after about 3 or 4 weeks, you're like, I can't believe it, now I'm suddenly getting so strong. What it is you're neurologically adapting to the movements. That's how we adapt to the motions. If someone's doing a push-up, a bench press, something like that, the first time you do it, you may be a little bit wobbly. Second time, maybe a little bit less. Third time, a lot less, and then now you're able to maximize your output. So increases in strength, it doesn't mean you're getting stronger yet. After 6 to 8 weeks of doing something like that, then the strength will come. But you're able to move more of a certain weight because that neural adaptation phase. You have a small adaptation phase, which is just doing something along the lines of what I was just doing there. I have some people do reaches or touch their toes for flexibility reasons. If you can touch your toe, you can do a lunge. If you can touch both your toes, it's basically a deadlift. Yeah, and then this would be a squat, but that would be a deadlift. But then if you could do it on one leg, the first time, it's hard. You'd be all over the place. If you have the balance and stability to do it. If you do it the second time, it's a little bit easier, then you might be off. And the third time, bam, you got it. Now all of a sudden, wow, I can do it. So what I try to have people do is see how many times you can touch your toes once. The first time, if you do it once, great. Second time, twice, try to beat the score. So after you do it about 3 times, all of a sudden it becomes really easy. It might not be that easy, but then all of a sudden it becomes a motion. Then you might even be able to jump after it. Who knows? It all depends on where you are now, where you can go, and what your limits are. Everybody's got different limits. We all have MS. We're like snowflakes. Everybody's a little bit different. Even if your twin has MS, you may have the same sense of humor, but different symptoms. Anybody got any questions up to now?
You mentioned something called slams earlier.
Yeah,
What are those?
like pancakes. No, I'm just kidding. Remember, you were doing them with this.
Please reiterate, since I don't have a mic on her.
She asked what slams were. If you had this in your hand, and now I got a seat up here so it's easier so everybody can see that even if you're seated, a slam with a soft medicine ball. Remember that? She was good at it. I was moving my feet all around the stage when you were doing it. But that's a slam. It's easy, it's fun, it's enjoyable. Get the frustration out, pick up the ball. If you're doing it standing, like she was doing, slam. Now it's not just that she's slamming it, you're doing a deadlift like I'm showing you. Picking it up, throwing it down, working your anterior as it's coming down, posterior as you're coming back up. It's important to realize that exercise is a progressive thing to do, a good progression, not the bad progression like we have with MS. So the first goal is to start. Keep doing what you're doing. Add a little bit to it. Add some level difficulty. Add some resistance, some weight to it. Add reps. All these different things are progressions that you can make that will make you better at what you do outside of a gym. Because while this can be a very enjoyable thing to do, and everyone that came up here could probably attest that it was kind of fun, if there was no limits, I could have really had you guys doing some stuff without falling off the stage, and someone would probably laugh and then we'd get mad, but but you create your limits. You can limit yourself to do whatever you want to do, and if you're willing to do it, that limit might be higher and higher and higher. Just don't try to pick things that you don't believe you can do, because then failure comes, and if you fail enough, you might be able to fix it, but try to do the things you're able to do so that way things you can't do a little bit easier. We got a question in the back.
When you go on a walk and you get pain starts like what sounds like the hip flexor, is that a hip flexor?
In here? Well, these muscles are hip flexors that do this. Sometimes you get muscle fatigue that may cause pain. Pain is a cue to back off. We don't work through pain unless we're professional athletes and get a paycheck for doing what we're doing. But if you are experiencing pain, it's something you should talk to your doctor about, because there's many things that it could be from. It might have to do with a former injury, an injury that's been recent, or it could just be muscle fatigue. If it's muscle fatigue, that's that burning feeling that you get in the muscles when they're going to fail. Is that what you're talking about, or just pain in here? Also, maybe make the walks a little bit shorter with a break and then start again. That might help out. But talk to the doctor about it. It might have something to do with that. It might have nothing to do with MS at all. It could be spasticity.
Yeah, that is my question, similar to that line. After I used to lift weights, and I could not figure out why after I worked out that I would get pain so bad that I'd have to take medicine after, like Xanaflex or something. So how, am I lifting too much weight to start with? I like to do a total body workout, but I like to say I quit it altogether because I was in such pain afterwards.
Is this something like when you'd start a program and then you'd get it after you're done, or just after you've been working out, and then you start feeling pain all of a sudden?
That's exactly why I had to stop.
Well, maybe you're overdoing it a little bit. Maybe some of the form is wrong. If you do wrong form in exercises, you can have problems with imbalances, you can have problems with joints, you can have all kinds of different problems, so make sure that you're doing it correctly first off. Second off, talk to your doctor. If you're taking the medicine, like you said, that's a medicine that is for spasticity, and you might want to incorporate some flexibility training or some stretching.
Yoga
following
or
prior to, but the most important thing about flexibility or stretching type exercise is that you do them when your muscles are warm. So if you do them when your muscles are cold, muscles are like rubber bands. You put a rubber band in the refrigerator or freezer, keep it in there for a while, take it out, and you go to pull it, what's going to happen? It's going to either snap or it's going to get really long and it's not going to get short again, and then you have problems with muscles. So same problems would occur with a muscle. So keep your body warmed up when you're going to stretch. And that might reduce the spasticity, it may.
Hi, Jeff. A friend of mine who is a PA, his aunt was just diagnosed this week with what they said is a very mild case of MS. She went through 5 days of Solumedrol, sent her home without any medication at all. My friend, who is the PA, and his family, feel that with exercise and diet that she can control the MS and not have to worry about taking medication. What is your take on that?
My take on that is I'm a firm believer in a specialist in the neurological field seeing people who have MS. They are your quarterback, and you go by the things that they tell you to do. You're speaking on behalf of somebody else, and unless you're in that specific appointment, I know from experience that if you're not with somebody else in the doctor's appointment, what you take out of the doctor's appointment might not be exactly what was said, so it might not have been the exact words coming out of the PA. The bottom line is a neurologist is the person to see when you have MS. The neurologist is the person that prescribes the meds for MS, and I follow my neurologist's recommendations for taking medicine. We live in the best time in history for MS because there's so many different meds out there now. And the way MS is shaping in this world is completely different than the way it used to be because there's the disease-modifying treatments that are available. So my suggestion to that person would be to see an MS specialist or neurologist and let them treat you. That's like going to Home Depot to talk about how your orange plants are working rather than the citrus specialist. So you're welcome.
You probably need to include swimming.
Well,
because swim aerobics
I would
are
do
great.
that, but there's no pool up
I
there.
understand,
Yeah,
but
I
some
try.
of us with knee issues, that's the limiting factor. And,
Right. No, I mean,
whether you run in the pool,
Yes,
or whether you do the aqua aerobics or whatever.
Aquatics are phenomenal.
You can't fall.
Yeah, you can, but nothing happens. You just float. but yeah, aquatics are great for the joints. Like I was saying, I would show you stuff in the pool, but we don't have a pool here. We can all go outside, but then Stuart would flip out. But aquatics are very good in the joints. They're good for people with MS. One thing to keep in mind is when you are doing aquatic exercise, that the pool's not too warm that you stay high anywhere.
84.
Yeah, 84 is the highest. 80 to 84 degrees is the recommended temperature for aquatic exercise. For non-aquatic exercise, the exercise recommendations for people who don't have MS, it's 66 to 74 degrees. And for people who do have MS, it's 66 to 70 degrees for indoor exercise. That's according to the American College of Sports Medicine. And that's very important to know because even gyms don't realize that sometimes. And we know that heat is difficult on us. Heat's something that can cause problems. That's why aquatic exercises are very helpful, in addition to the joint problems.
You don't sweat.
Yeah, but you do get dehydrated in the pool, so you got to stay hydrated.
So I'm curious of the exercises that you showed for people that either are in wheelchairs or walking stability devices. What kind of exercises do you do with them?
The stuff I was showing you in a chair. You can do the same stuff when it comes to upper body, seated in a chair. I'm going to move over a little bit so you can see. So when I had the band, you can do rows in a seated position. You can have someone or have it behind you that's holding the band, presses. You can lift the things up off the ground, up in the air, the medicine balls or whatever it is you're holding. All that kind of stuff. But in addition to that, the balloon is phenomenal for someone in a wheelchair because someone in a wheelchair may not get a lot of core work. And if you hit a balloon to somebody, they're doing this to catch it. And when they're doing that, that's preventing them from falling, their core is preventing them from falling over. So you're getting a good core workout, and it might be the difference between someone falling over or not falling over. Does that answer your question? I can go into more in-depth answer than that if you'd like. I'm not sure what it is that you're looking for outside of...
Goal-wise, I mean, I'm assuming the goal is to try to get somebody to be able to lift themselves or to...
Right.
Yeah.
So that's something that you can do by, a movement is a movement. We can only move in so many different directions. So you can do exercises like dips and things like that, stuff to help you transfer. There's basically any way the body moves or the person that's able to move in a wheelchair, you have them move in those directions. And with resistance, it becomes a strength building program, and that gets them stronger. So the goal coming from me would be to increase strength. For the person in the chair, they'd have to tell me what their goal was, and then I would tell them, well, this is how you can get to that goal. But I can't give people goals. I can work off of their goals.
Who is
Any other
next?
questions?
Thank you. This is how I get my exercise, everybody.
My issues currently is when I fall, I can't get up.
You got one of those buttons?
No, and I've been trying to get one.
Those are great, but I
Yeah.
had to say it because that was just like the commercial.
Yeah, but I've been in physical therapy now at the hospital for probably 3-4 months. And I want them to teach me how to get up because I can't
Have you told them that?
Yes.
Okay. What I do for people who can't get off the ground is I do everything but get them off the ground and work in a way to strengthen their body to get them closer to being able to get off the ground. But the most difficult thing to do with someone when they're on the ground is get them over the fear of being on the ground. So my recommendations for people, personally, when I talk to and I'm working with someone one-on-one, when you fall, because that's what you're thinking about, if you fall, what are you going to do? When you fall, you absolutely want to do nothing at first. Because the first thing that goes through your mind is total freak out. What am I going to do? I'm going to be stuck here forever. Oh my gosh. And then you go try to get up, you wear yourself out. Next thing you know, you can't even move your arms.
Right.
Relax.
Pulling.
Yeah, well, forget about all that stuff. If you fall down, if you're okay, you relax. Let yourself calm down. Whatever startled you, you don't want to panic. Panic gets you nowhere. And then, gather your thoughts. And that's what you might want to do with your physical therapist. Talk to them, see what they would say if you're on the ground. Level changes. You don't want to go from something that you can't do to just trying to do it, or else you're going to fail. So you may want to get like something, fall onto something where there's something a little bit higher that you can prop yourself up onto. That's little steps to get up. That's what I always ask people is, are there pillows or something you could put on the ground that you can roll onto a pillow, climb up a little bit higher, then prop yourself up, get up onto a couch or something along those lines. But getting up off the ground, there's a lot of progressions to do it.
Well, they told me I would have to have a lot more strength in my legs, but I've been working hard at it.
Work your upper body too, because helping
Yeah.
yourself prop up with your upper body is just as important as your legs
Okay.
being strong.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? There we go. That's what oh, good ones.
Mine's a equilibrium thing. I do a treadmill. I do bands. I do 5-pound weights. But as you can tell, I constantly run into things. Yeah. You know, like legs and everything. And I don't know how you strength or exercise with that. I don't know what I could.
Prevention. That's one of the things. Where do you see yourself bumping into things at? Like at home or in?
I think it's sabotage. I think they come after me.
They do. They do. They've come after me before too.
I don't see them.
Yeah. Well, that's where core. The stronger your core, the better your ability is to rebound from bumping into something.
Well, I can't do I can't do squats because I have the leg tremors and stuff. So you can't.
You can't do squats because of leg tremors.
Oh,
you
I'm
can
sorry.
do them supported.
Right, because
So if you could do something
I'm
against
down.
the wall with a stability ball in the corner, you can go up and down, limit the range of motion that you're doing.
Right.
But when you start to shake and have problems while you're working out, that means you've overdone it a little bit and you want to get stronger gradually, so that might not happen.
We only have 2 more minutes. I'm sorry, I can only get 2 more questions. One's back here, one is up there, and then we have to move on to Dr. Kramer.
And I have to answer them with one word, right?
Yes. 1.5.
He told me to grab the mic, but I'm not going to do that from you. Do you, I don't know, in the last year or so, the backs of my legs, I guess my hamstrings, are so tight, it feels like they're going to snap. So every time I get out of a chair, out of the car, I move, I bend, whatever, I'm like, row. And I feel like I'm trying to stretch them all the time, but it's never getting anywhere. I mean, they really feel like they're going to snap.
Okay, when
What
you're
can you do?
stretching in a passive stretch would mean something that you're forcing to stretch. That doesn't mean you're increasing your ability with those muscles. That just means that you're stretching them. So the function comes by doing stuff with them. So what I like to do is work with a full range of motion, and that accomplishes 2 things. Like what I was showing people here would be if you were to be able to come down here and come up. Now you're stretching your hamstrings while you're coming down. So you can see I'm doing a hamstring stretch, and coming back I'm using my hamstrings and my glutes to get back up. So I'm working in a full range of motion, and it's a functional movement, so it would give you more ability to actually do the exercise rather than just stretch the leg. Because the reason you want it to be more flexible is so you have more ability in that out of that muscle, right? So that would be the answer to that. But talk to your doctor about it and see if that's something he would suggest as well. But it's important to work in full ranges of motion.
And where do you get those bands?
I'll talk to you after I'm done. I'll explain that. If you want to know where I got the bands.
This is going to be the last question. For anybody else that has questions for Jeff after the program, after Dr. Kramer, he'll be out here, okay?
Actually, I have something to offer. You did great. I enjoyed listening to you. I'm an occupational therapist, and I actually just have a couple comments, if that's okay. Make sure you carry your phone with you in your pocket, even though you don't have the button. And for people in wheelchairs, I like to use the kitchen sink to pull up on the kitchen sink because it's stable and they can pull on it and they're safe. It's either the sink or the chair. And then this young lady over here, your equilibrium could be in your ears and it could be part of your vision. So I would get that checked too.
So between that goes down to proprioception too. Proprioception is where you are, to know where you are in space.
Thank you.
And vision and feel, touch, all that stuff add up to balance, as well as inner ear and hearing. So all these things together equal equilibrium. So you got to basically weed out some of those things and see if it is MS related or not.
All right, everybody like Jeff?